Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Yes, the season is finally over, and for us die-hard F1 fans, it's been a pretty painful watch, it has to be said. A pretty painful watch, and unfortunately Formula 1 right now is not in a very good place whatsoever. Interest and engagement with Formula 1 is down by at least 50% compared with just 2021, so just 2 years ago. Everything to do with Formula 1 is just not there. And anyway, the season at Abu Dhabi is finally over. As you can see behind me, I've already started renovating this room after I've had the builders in, and so in the next 97 days I should be getting on with this, and it'll look completely different when I return with Hookster Talks back in March of 2024, as I say. So I apologise for all the mess at the moment. It's getting cleared and tidied up as we speak. But anyway, back to the race at Abu Dhabi. It was pretty average, has to be said. There was lots of sort of battles going on and some very, very dodgy strategical calls. I really don't get why some of those were made, to be honest, but they were. So there you go. And Charles Leclerc proved once again that he is just a complete and utter pussy. Yes, a complete and utter pussy, which, you know, it's just understandable really, but there he is. I mean, I hated when he was first introduced into Ferrari, that the hype that he got was just unbelievable, and poor old Sebastian Vettel was just left by the wayside and really sort of made that to be, you know, pretty shit compared to this monster of a man called Charles Leclerc when he first came into Ferrari. I think it was in 2020, and I was very disappointed to see that, because just looking at Charles Leclerc in those early years at Ferrari, he didn't impress me one little bit, and sad to say that as the years have gone on, he still doesn't impress me whatsoever. He just hasn't got that rawness, that passion, that will to win, and I have to say that edge that is needed to be a great Formula 1. He just hasn't got that. He hasn't got that aggression either, and that's what he's sadly lacking. He needs that aggression. Now, I don't know how good he is at setting the car up. I mean, looking at it, I think he's probably a little bit of a paid driver at Ferrari. Basically just turns up and starts driving the car. I'm pretty sure Carlos Sainz is probably the one that does the lion's share of all the development work on that car. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Just by the mannerisms and the way that Charles Leclerc is, I just get the impression that, you know, the actual mechanical side of the car, he really doesn't pay much attention to. And so, as I say, he just gets in it and drives it. So, yeah, I'm not impressed with Charles Leclerc whatsoever, unfortunately. So there you go. But anyway, the race has been completed. As I said, for us long-time Formula 1 fans, it's been a very hard F1 season. It really has. Once again, just to stop anyone having a go at me, I'm not having a go at Maxi Boy Verstappen. He cannot do anything else. He's awesome right now. He's in the best car. He's the best driver. He's doing everything that he needs to do to win the races, and that's what he's doing. But unfortunately, in regards to Formula 1, it's a terrible situation to have dominance. It really is, and everyone just loses interest, loses focus, and it's terrible. But as I say, nothing against Maxi Boy. He deserved that championship, and he got it, and that's what he's done. So he's now 3 times world champion. But as I say, for the sport in general, it's very bad news indeed. And what's even worse is the amount of points that he's got now. Now, I said in previous live streams that if you ever come into a situation of total dominance, which is what Max pretty much is, you know, it's been a 97% dominant season for Max. I said that with the point situation with 25 points for a win, that's going to look pretty stupid for like the second and third place drivers if this dominance starts to come into effect. Now, it's been there in previous years with, you know, Lewis Hamilton and what have you. So, you know, there's been a lot of points to play for, but it hasn't been the total domination that we've had this year with Max Verstappen. Now let's go to the final points then after Abu Dhabi. I'll just move myself out of the way. So there you go. Max Verstappen won it with 575 points in the end. So just 25 shy of the magic 600. And in second place was Sergio Perez with 285 points, which is just absolute lunacy. Absolute lunacy. Now, if We'd have been on the old point system where we'd only got 10 points for a win. Of course, Max would only be on about half that amount, but of course the rest of the drivers would be as well. So, it's swings and roundabouts. But I just think that, this is where the point situation, the 25 points for a win, is just not working, because to win by that amount just shows, that, it's not good. I preferred the point system when it was 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which was the system that we had just before this new system came in, which I think was 2010, wasn't it? 2010? I think it was. Yeah, so that was the point system that I preferred. You only lost 2 points for second place. That was good. Whereas now you've got 25, then you've got 18. So you lose quite a few points for second place. And that's one of the reasons I think why Sergio Perez is so far behind on points, because, he did get a lot of sort of podiums and second places. So, yeah, not good. Anyway, congratulations to Lewis Hamilton, who, despite doing absolutely nothing in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, apart from hitting Pierre Gasly up to Jack Jones, managed to finish the season in third position, despite Toto Wolff trying to big him up during the race and going, "Lewis, you are the fastest car." Yes, you are the fastest car, despite everyone, even in the commentary box with Alex Jackson, David Coulthard, looking at each other puzzled as to why Toto said that, because looking at the timing screens, there was no part during the time that Toto said that statement that Lewis Hamilton was the fastest car. No, it was just a little bit of, brinkmanship and a bit of motivation to try to keep Lewis going. But sadly, Lewis would have seen straight through that. And, he definitely wasn't the fastest car whatsoever. In fact, he was pretty slow. Obviously, he had that damage from hitting Pierre Gasly, but he only had a little bit of the end plate was just flapping about. We've had other drivers. Max Verstappen had a whole of his end plate missing and still managed to win races. So that end plate, as I've said in the past, doesn't really do much. In fact, I think if they lose those end plates, the cars will probably end up going faster, really, because they just don't seem to do much, those end plates. They look more like a sort of aggressive decoration. Now, I know obviously they must have a purpose. They must obviously channel air going over the car and obviously over the, I think it goes over the wheel as well, doesn't it? So but it doesn't really do that much, because otherwise, like in the past, if you damaged your wing in any capacity, just a slight bit of damage, you would have had to have come in straight away and changed the wing. They're not doing that. They're just not doing that at all. If they get damage to their wing, they just carry on going with the damaged wing. So it obviously doesn't make a huge amount of difference to the car if you've got that end plate missing. So despite that, Lewis Hamilton still didn't do shit. No, he still didn't do much, did he? He ended the season on a low. Started the season on a low, and he's ended it on a low. But he is third place in the championship. So congratulations to Lulu for getting something out of this season, because it's been a very tough season for him. Of course, he has beaten George Russell, which is something that he's probably very happy about. So 234 points for Lewis Hamilton. Fourth position for Fernando Alonso, of course, yes. Fourth position for Fernando, who has dragged that Aston Martin up by its bootstraps, to be honest, because that car is not up there. And unfortunately, during this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, he did sort of go back to the past a little bit when he mentioned about how slow the car was. And it was mentioned in commentary as well that it reminded them where he said, we've got a GP2 engine here. A GP2 engine, that was of course referencing the Honda in 2015 when it was an absolute dog. It was so slow, it was unbelievable. It really was. Of course, it's got a little bit quicker these days now, hasn't it? Yes, but back in the days when they were still basically developing the engine as they were going through the season, which is a very, very risky strategy, I have to say, a very, very risky strategy. I think Audi have got the right idea by not coming in until 2026. So they've got at least they've had a couple of years already. They've got 2 more years to get their engine really up to spec before they come into the sport in 2026. And Ford also have had that good idea as well, because Ford have never actually developed one of these new hybrid engines. So they are actually shadowing whatever the engine's called these days. I don't know whether it is still a Red Bull or whether it's basically a Honda engine. I've no idea, but whatever it is, the Ford mechanics are basically shadowing the Honda mechanics and, getting little ideas for their engine when they come into the sport, obviously in 2026 as well. So that's good news. But when Honda had that 2015 debut, they basically doing all development out on the track, and that was just disastrous. How many times did the Honda engine blow up in 2015? It was a lot. And how slow? It was very slow indeed. Anyway, and then in 5th position, we've got Mr. Pussy himself, Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari with 206 points. He did beat Lando Norris just by 1 point in the end. Lando got 205. A great season for Lando, if you remember how bad the McLarens were at the start of the season. Very bad indeed. So a great result for Lando in the end. Carlos Sainz finished in 7th place with 200 points. So he got bested by his teammate Charles Leclerc, but only by 6 points. But, it's still getting bested by Charles Leclerc. And I think basically Carlos Sainz did a better job this year than Charles Leclerc. It's just the fact that, he's managed to sneak in an extra 6 points. But I really would say out of those two Ferrari drivers that Carlos Sainz has definitely done the better job. But of course, it's all in the points, and clearly on screen you can see he's got more points than Carlos. So he gets 5th place, and Carlos unfortunately only gets 7th position. And in 8th place, we've got George Russell, who finished his very lackluster season, it has to be said, in 8th position. He's had a really, really torrid time at Mercedes. He really hasn't shined at all. I mean, don't forget when he came into the sport, or should I say came into the Mercedes, when of course Lewis Hamilton had COVID that weekend, and he just had so much promise, so much potential. Of course, unfortunately the car let him down several times during that race, but he had so much potential, and everyone went, yes, this is going to be a future world champion. But unfortunately, it just hasn't come to fruition, at least not this year anyway. And he's really had a lackluster season, has George Russell. Very, very poor performance. He's only got 175 points, which for a Mercedes car is a very poor performance. He's in 8th position. He finished the championship in 9th place. I have to say, a very good debut for Oscar Piastri in the other McLaren car. He's only got 97 points, which is quite a way behind Lando Norris with 205. But, I think for his first year, he's done very, very well indeed. And of course, he had the same problems as Lando in the McLaren at the start of the year, and then they've slowly got better and better and better. So, yeah, hats off to Oscar Piastri. He's done very well in 9th position, I feel. And in 10th place, we've got, I don't know how he's done it, Lance Stroll in the sister Aston Martin with 74 points. I just don't know how he's done it, but yes, he has. There's been lots of complaints, most of them about how rubbish he is and how he shouldn't be in Formula 1, but there you go. And he's managed to get 10th place overall, quite a way, unfortunately, behind his teammate Fernando Alonso, who's sitting up there in 4th place, don't forget. 4th place, and don't forget his age, everyone. What's he, 42 years old, and he's in 206, and Lance Stroll's on 74. That's a huge gap. And in 11th and 12th, we've got both the Alpine guys who have basically been racing no one this year except themselves. Yeah, they haven't been racing anyone else, and that's reflected in the points that they've got, 62 playing 58. So yeah, they've really just been racing against each other, and I'm hoping next year that Alpine are going to improve, because they've got that 25% stake now from Ryan Reynolds, so he wants a little bit return on that, so we're hoping next year that Alpine's going to do better. Now, we've got Alexander Albon, who has done very well, I do believe, in that Williams car. And the other person that's done very well is Mr. Voles, of course, the team principal of Williams. I think he's had a cracking season this year. Alexander's only got 27 points, but that's not reflective, I think, on his performance this year. I think he's done a lot better than that. Unfortunately, he's been further down the field, so he's got less points. But he has done a great job as Alexander Albon in that Williams. He's dragged it up once again, a bit like Fernando Alonso. I mean, that car isn't really there, and yet, he managed to drag it up on several occasions during the season. So well done to Alexander Albon. And of course, in 14th place, we have Yuki Tsunoda, my pick of one of the drivers. He's only got 17 points in the AlphaTauri, but the AlphaTauri is not a good car whatsoever. So I'm going to say well done to Yuki Tsunoda for those 17 points. He's a driver I do like very much, and I hope he stays in Formula 1 for quite a while. And then in 15th place, someone who I hope doesn't stay in Formula 1 for quite a while is Valtteri Bottas, who's done absolutely nothing in that Alfa Romeo. He's got 10 points. Don't forget, this is an ex-Mercedes driver. Ex-Mercedes driver. He's got 10 points only. That's it. 10 blooming points. He's basically just a paid driver now. He just turns up, gets paid and goes home again because he's got absolutely no motivation to be in F1. It's clear to see. I don't know how much motivation he had when he was at Mercedes, to be honest, but it's clear at Alfa Romeo he's got zero motivation. He just turns up, does his job and goes home again. And we got in 16th place Nico Hülkenberg with just 9 points in the very underperforming Haas. It's something we're going to keep saying every single year, I think. The underperforming Haas. But it just has been, and it's going to be every single year. I just don't know what it needs to push it forward. Maybe not Gunter Steiner as the team principal. Maybe that's what it needs to start pushing forward. But I don't know how Gene Huss still can have the enthusiasm to still run that team. To be honest, I'd have left it years ago and gone fishing or something, because it's just crazy. It's just crazy that every year they just come nowhere, absolutely nowhere. And, some of the years they had some real potential, but just recently it just hasn't come to fruition. So 16th for Hülkenberg. 17th we got Daniel Ricciardo, who, once again, I've been pretty critical of, and I think justly, because he's done pretty much nothing in that AlphaTauri, to be honest. I know he's had injury, he's been out, and all sorts of complications. Blah, 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 blah. Yes. How many times are we going to keep making excuses for Daniel Ricciardo? How many times? How many teams did he go to? How many times did he not perform well in those teams? Oh, hang on. Didn't he get released from McLaren because he wasn't any good? And then he gets put back in an AlphaTauri car? Excuse me? What the hell is going on here? What is going on? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Bringing back Daniel Ricciardo, I mean, you might as well bring back Damon Hill, to be honest, or Nigel Mansell. You just might as well, because that's what they're doing. He was let go because he was no good. So stop bringing him back, please. Anyway, Guan Yu Zhou in 18th place with only 6 points. He's had a pretty lacklustre season in the Alfa Romeo. Kevin Magnussen has only got 3 points in the sister Haas, of course, but that's the problems with Haas. Liam Lawson got 2 points before they got rid of him. So well done to them. He's got 2 points, and Daniel Ricciardo's only got 6, and there's your difference. What could Liam Lawson have done if he'd have been kept in the team? No idea. We won't know now. Logan Sargent has got 1 single solitary point in the other Williams, and it's up in the air whether Logan Sargent will be returning to Williams next year. The Williams team have said his contract is still under negotiation, so nobody really knows whether he'll be back or not. So there you go. That's Logan Sargent. That may have been in Abu Dhabi the last time we're going to see Logan Sargent in Formula 1. Unfortunately, he may be back, but he may not be. And I think if he does get dropped by Williams, I can't see any possibility of him getting a seat anywhere else in Formula 1. It's sad, but it's true. F1 is a very competitive sport, and if you're not good enough, you're out. Unless you're Daniel Ricciardo, and it doesn't matter if you're not good enough, because they'll just bring you back anyway. Yeah, just bring you back. Yeah, because it's the smile. It's that cheesy smile. He just one of those cheesy smiles, and he's back in. Yeah, he'll probably be driving for Ferrari next year. Just one of those smiles, and he'll be back at Ferrari. Yeah, or should I say, at Ferrari, not back at Ferrari, because he's never been there. But you get my point. And of course, poor Nick de Vries, dropped by AlphaTauri because they were favouring Daniel Ricciardo, has got 0 points because he wasn't allowed to show any of his potential, unfortunately. So that was the end of that. So there you go. That's the end of the F1 2023 season. It seems to have been very, very long. It's only been 22 races because, of course, one was cancelled due to flooding. It's supposed to be 23. So it hasn't been that long, but it just seems to have dragged on. And unfortunately, once you get domination in the sport, this is what happens. But anyway, it's all over. I'd just like to thank everybody who's still supporting the channel after all these years. And I don't know if there'll be any more Hookster Talks, to be honest. There will, of course, be some kind of Christmas special at some point before Christmas, but I don't know whether there'll be one this Thursday, because there really isn't much to talk about. I've covered it pretty much in this video. But anyway, never to worry, because we will be back. As I say, we'll do a Christmas special and we'll be back next year for more Hookster Talks when the season kicks off in 97 days, probably 96 days now. Yes, and we'll have 24 races in total, including the return of China. I'll believe it when I see it. I still don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, we will find out. As I say, it's been a very long season. Probably one of the things is because I've had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, which has stopped me from being in front of this microphone, and that hasn't been good for my brain. No, I don't like being away from the microphone, but unfortunately I've had to be away from it for ages, and of course I've had some health issues as well, probably caused in part by the stuff that's been going on. Of course I can't blame the builders and whatever, but it probably has. I think to be honest, since about October, my battery has been like on your phone. It's been blinking at 5% now for since the last month and a half, saying, will you please recharge? Will you please recharge yourself? So I think that's what I may have to go and do. Anyway, I'll say I'm gonna sort all this backdrop out. That's going to be completely different. I should get rid of that calendar finally, because it's from 2018 and it's 2023 now. So I think it should go. Yes, it should go. And so I will sort this backdrop out, and it'll be completely different in 97 days, ready for the new season. In fact, if Hookster Talks returns at any point in the future, hopefully the backdrop will be done by then, because I've got 97 days, because that's just being damn lazy if I can't get it done in that time. But anyway, thank you everyone for everything, all the support this year for the channel. I know there's been a few hiccups, and I had to get Dominic on one video to do the all seasons because I just didn't have time. I had the time, but with builders here I couldn't do the commentary. So yeah, thanks to Dom for that. He did an awesome job, and I could get more guest stars on in the future, not because of any building work, but just because why not? If that's something you would like to see, more guest stars, then yeah, drop me a little comment in the comments and tell me who you'd like to see as a guest voice on the all seasons, as the all seasons goes into the very, very quiet period now of the 2023 end game, sort of November, December, and into January and February of 2024, when it goes very, very quiet indeed and no one bother watches the video. So yeah, let me know if you'd like to see some guest stars. I don't know, they may be stars, I mean, who knows, I might be able to get someone really big. No, not a chance, but who knows, I might be able to. So yes, drop me a little note in the comments and tell me if you want to see someone actually doing one of the all seasons. Yes, don't say however, that's never going to happen. You know that, don't you? Just don't bother even putting it in the comments, because that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. You've got to downscale a little bit. Downscale. All right, you got to down. Just no, lower than that. No, you got to go low. No, you got to go a lot lower than that. No, lower than that, and lower. Yes, you're getting there now. You're right. You're right at the bottom. And there you go. So put your suggestions in for who you would like to see doing a commentary on the all seasons, which would be great to see. I'd like to do a few, sort of ones like that. But anyway, I've been rabbiting on for 23 minutes and 30 seconds almost. Yes, once again, thanks so much for watching, everyone. That is it. That's the end of Formula 1 for 2023. So I'm going to go off for a very long rest now. Yes, for at least 97 days until it comes back again. So yeah, there will be more Hookster Talks. There'll be a Christmas special at some point where I'm going to do lots of shenanigans, and we shall have some more fun with some dirty videos, dirty lyric videos like I did a few weeks ago, because everyone seemed to like that, and I should be repeating that. A special Christmas special. But I'll say, as of any more Hookster Talks about F1, well, we can't, because it's over now. It's all done. So yeah, look out for that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone. You have been awesome as always, and I'll catch you in the next video.